There's something humbling about being 68 and waking up to the quiet realization that your body speaks to you more than ever, not with words, but with stiffness in your fingers, that dry feeling in your mouth when your blood sugar is creeping too high, or the dread of seeing your A1C go up again. I know that feeling. A year ago, every checkup was a source of anxiety. My doctor started hinting at insulin. My energy was dropping. I had no strength to walk up the stairs without needing a moment to catch my breath. I kept thinking, is this it? Is this just aging? But something in me refused to accept that my body was doomed to decline. One morning, while making breakfast, I paused and looked at the milk I had always poured into my coffee, my oats, my smoothies. Could something so simple be part of the problem, or maybe the solution? Most people don't realize how deeply milk can affect our blood sugar levels, especially as we age. We've been told milk is healthy since childhood, strong bones, right? But after 60, our metabolism isn't the same. The body becomes more sensitive to certain types of sugars, hormones, and inflammatory compounds hiding in what seems like a harmless glass of milk. But here's the twist. There are milks that can help. I found one I now drink daily, and after a few months, my A1C began to drop naturally. No new medications, no complicated diets, just one simple switch. That's why today I'm going to reveal 4 types of milk that can support healthy blood sugar after 60, and 2 you should stay away from if you care about your insulin, your energy, and your long-term health. And we're going to start with the good ones, because your body deserves to feel better starting today. Number 4, unsweetened almond milk. Every morning, I used to pour the same milk into my cereal without thinking twice. But when I started paying attention to my A1C levels, I realized that not all milks are created equal, especially after 60. That's when I found unsweetened almond milk. Light, nutty, and smooth, it became my go-to not just for its taste, but because it didn't send my blood sugar on a roller coaster. Unlike dairy milk, unsweetened almond milk contains almost no carbohydrates, and that alone makes a world of difference for someone trying to stabilize glucose levels. It blends effortlessly into oatmeal, smoothies, or even a quiet cup of coffee, giving you the creaminess you crave without the sugar you don't need. But almond milk isn't just about what it lacks. It's about what it brings to the table. It's naturally rich in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that helps protect your cells from the kind of silent inflammation that often goes unnoticed but chips away at your health over time. Many brands also fortify almond milk with calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin A, nutrients that become even more important as we age, especially for maintaining strong bones and good immune function. So while it may be light in calories, almond milk carries a surprisingly powerful nutritional punch for such a mild, humble drink. Of course, it's important to choose wisely. Not all almond milks are created equal. Flavored or sweetened versions often sneak in added sugars that can quietly sabotage your health goals. Always look for labels that say unsweetened, and ideally, choose those with added calcium and vitamin D, especially if you're cutting back on dairy. That way, you get all the benefits without the blood sugar spikes, and your bones still get the love they need. Another thing to remember is that almond milk, while healthy, is low in protein. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you should pair it with other protein-rich foods like eggs, nuts, or Greek yogurt to round out your meal. It's a team player in your diet, not the whole team. And when you're managing diabetes or try to prevent it, every piece of the puzzle matters. Almond milk fits beautifully into a balanced breakfast or a light evening snack without adding stress to your pancreas. So if you're looking for a milk that supports your blood sugar, feels gentle on the stomach, and fits into your life without effort or extra cost, unsweetened almond milk might just be the quiet upgrade your routine needs. It's one of the few changes I made that didn't feel like a sacrifice, and yet, over time, it helped tilt my numbers in the right direction. Number 3, unsweetened soy milk. There was a time when I overlooked soy milk entirely. I thought it was just a fringe choice for people following strict vegan diets, not something that could actually help me manage my blood sugar. But the more I learned, the more I saw soy milk not as an alternative, but as a powerful ally. Unsweetened soy milk is a plant-based drink that most closely matches the nutritional profile of low-fat cow's milk. It offers around 7 to 9 grams of protein per cup, which is rare among non-dairy options. And that protein is key. It helps slow down the absorption of sugar in your meals, giving your blood sugar levels a smoother ride instead of sudden spikes that leave you tired or jittery. That's a big deal, especially when you're managing diabetes or trying to prevent it. The presence of healthy fats in soy milk adds another benefit: satisfaction. You feel full longer, which naturally reduces the urge to snack on sugary foods later in the day. After switching to unsweetened soy milk in my morning coffee and cereal, I noticed I wasn't craving muffins or crackers by 10 a.m. like I used to. It creates a feeling of steadiness. Physically and mentally, that's easy to underestimate until you feel it. And in the kitchen, soy milk holds up incredibly well. It's smooth, neutral in taste, and doesn't split or curdle when heated, making it ideal for soups, sauces, even scrambled eggs or baked goods. It slips into your routine without effort. And that's exactly what we need at this stage of life: healthy habits that are easy to keep. But soy milk doesn't just help with blood sugar, it also helps the heart. Studies have shown it may lower LDL cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries and raises cardiovascular risk. It's also been linked to lower blood pressure and smaller waist circumference, issues that often go hand in hand with diabetes in older adults. That means soy milk works on multiple fronts, keeping your heart strong, your blood sugar stable, and your appetite in check. And let's not forget the presence of flavonoids and omega-3s, which reduce inflammation and protect cells from long-term damage. When we say food can be medicine, soy milk is a prime example. Even so, not all soy milks are created equal. The healthiest versions are unsweetened and fortified. Look for brands that add calcium, vitamin D, and B12, nutrients we naturally lose more quickly after 60. But watch the labels closely. Some options are full of gums, sugars, or artificial flavorings that undermine the benefits. A good rule: if the ingredients list is short and simple, your body will thank you. If it reads like a science experiment, best to leave it on the shelf. The right soy milk supports your health quietly, without drama. Making soy milk part of my daily life wasn't just a change in what I drank. It was a shift in how I saw food. I realized I didn't have to give up taste or comfort to make progress with my health. This one small switch, consistent over time, gave me more energy, better numbers on my lab tests, and a sense of control I hadn't felt in years. And when you're 60 or older, those wins matter. They remind you that it's not too late to turn things around and feel better in your own skin again. Number 2, low-fat cow's milk. For years, cow's milk was a staple in my kitchen. I grew up drinking it, raised my kids on it, and kept pouring it into my cereal without thinking twice. But when my A1C started creeping up, I had to ask, is milk helping me or quietly working against me? The answer, it turns out, depends on the kind of milk. Low-fat cow's milk, when chosen carefully, can still be a healthy part of life after 60. It contains a rich package of nutrients our bodies need: calcium, protein, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and potassium. Unlike many processed foods, cow's milk is whole, recognizable, and naturally packed with benefits. If you know how to pick the right type. What makes low-fat milk a smart option for blood sugar management is its balance of protein and carbs. 1 cup of 1% milk gives you around 8 grams of protein and 11 to 12 grams of carbohydrates. That protein helps slow digestion, blunting sugar spikes after meals. Compared to fruit juices, sodas, or even healthy flavored yogurts, a small glass of low-fat milk is far gentler on your system. And thanks to the whey protein found in dairy, you may actually get an extra insulin boost, helping your body handle the carbs more effectively. It's one of the few natural foods that works with your body's insulin response instead of fighting against it. There's another hidden gem in cow's milk: alpha-linolenic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid especially present in milk from grass-fed cows. This compound has anti-inflammatory properties and is linked to cardiovascular benefits, something we absolutely need to protect as we age. That means milk doesn't just help bones. It also supports the heart and blood vessels. The key is moderation. For people managing weight or cholesterol, full-fat milk might not be ideal due to its saturated fat content. That's why 1% or fat-free options are recommended by the American Diabetes Association. They give you the nutrients without the added fat load. Of course, dairy isn't perfect for everyone. Some people are lactose intolerant or experience bloating and discomfort. If that's your case, there's no shame in moving toward fortified plant-based options. But if your body tolerates dairy well, low-fat milk can be both comforting and functional. It pairs easily with high-fiber foods like oats or whole grain toast to create a meal that's stable, satisfying, and low on sugar drama. And unlike many alternatives, cow's milk doesn't need artificial thickeners or stabilizers to feel creamy. It's naturally rich in texture and tradition. What changed for me wasn't just the milk, it was the mindset. I stopped drinking it like I was still 30 and started using it more intentionally, with balance and awareness. And when I made the switch from whole milk to 1%, I noticed my energy improve and my blood sugar stay more even after meals. It wasn't a radical change, but over time, small shifts like this helped me move from fear to confidence with every meal. And after 60, confidence in your choices might be the healthiest thing you can drink. Number 1, unsweetened coconut milk beverage. If you're looking for a milk that feels almost weightless but still does your body good, unsweetened coconut milk beverage might be your match. Not to be confused with the thick-kin version used in cooking. This is the kind you find in cartons, lighter, drinkable, and surprisingly low in carbohydrates. For someone like me, try and keep my blood sugar stable without sacrificing flavor or variety. This milk became a quiet favorite. With nearly 0 grams of sugar and very few carbs, it slips into your day without pushing your glucose levels in the wrong direction. It's gentle, subtle, and makes a fantastic base for smoothies, iced coffee, or just a calming warm cup in the evening. Beyond blood sugar, coconut milk has a few other advantages. It's often fortified with calcium, vitamin D, and sometimes vitamin B12, making it a solid non-dairy source of nutrients that are essential as we get older. Its healthy fats, especially medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, are metabolized a bit differently in the body and may provide a small energy boost without raising insulin the way other fats might. And for those with lactose intolerance or multiple food sensitivities, coconut milk is a safe, soothing option. No dairy, no soy, no nuts. Just simple hydration with a touch of tropical smoothness. That said, not all coconut milks are equal. The kind that's best for blood sugar is the unsweetened beverage version, not the canned coconut milk used in curries, which is thicker and loaded with saturated fat. Some brands still sneak in sugar, even in their original flavors, so read the label carefully. You want to say unsweetened clearly on the front. Look for versions fortified with calcium and vitamin D to help support bone density. Because after 60, keeping your bones strong is just as important as keeping your blood sugar low. Another benefit of coconut milk is its neutral flavor. It doesn't dominate dishes or drinks. I've used it to lighten up creamy soups, blend into chia puddings, or simply pour over high-fiber cereals. It adds body without heaviness, and when combined with a little cinnamon or cocoa, it becomes something special. Even those who don't like coconut are often surprised at how mild and smooth this beverage version tastes, especially when served chilled. Of all the milks I've tried, unsweetened coconut milk beverage is one of the most blood sugar friendly. It feels clean, easy, and forgiving. But while we've talked about the best options to support your health, there are still some choices that can quietly work against you. That's why next, we'll look at 2 types of milk you might want to avoid, especially if lowering your A1C is a goal. Number 2, oat milk. It surprised me at first. Oat milk, with its warm, creamy texture and healthy image, was one of the milks I used to reach for often. It felt comforting, natural, even wholesome. After all, oats are heart healthy, right? But here's what I didn't realize. When oats are heavily processed into milk, they lose a lot of what makes them great and gain something that's not so helpful for blood sugar. Oat milk tends to have a high carbohydrate content, often more than twice that of cow's milk, and it's not uncommon for it to include added sugars as well. That means that every sweet sip might be silently spiking your glucose more than you realize. Even the unsweetened versions aren't entirely in the clear. Oats naturally break down into simple sugars during the production process. So while the label might say no added sugar, the final product can still carry a significant glycemic load that can create a sharp rise in blood sugar after drinking, a dangerous pattern, especially for those of us managing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. I remember having a bowl of cereal with oat milk one morning and feeling oddly tired an hour later. It wasn't until I checked my glucose monitor that I realized what was happening. My numbers had shot up and then dropped rapidly. That roller coaster isn't just uncomfortable, it wears your body down over time. Another issue is that oat milk often lacks meaningful protein. Unlike soy or dairy milk, which can buffer your body's blood sugar response, oat milk gives you a high dose of carbs with very little to balance it out. That makes it even more likely to cause sudden spikes in glucose. If you're pairing oat milk with something like cereal or toast, you're essentially stacking carbs on top of carbs, without the protein or healthy fat your body needs to stay stable. It's like putting kindling on a fire that's already burning too fast. And that fire, over time, can inflame more than just your blood sugar. It affects your energy, your focus, even your mood. Oat milk also tends to be heavily processed, with emulsifiers, thickeners, and stabilizers added to maintain its texture and shelf life. Some brands include oil, salt, and gums that, while safe in small amounts, don't really support your long-term health. That doesn't mean oat milk is evil. It's not. But for someone over 60 working to protect their insulin sensitivity and lower A1C, it's simply not the most helpful choice. There are better options that give you the comfort of milk without the glucose baggage. So if oat milk is in your fridge right now, don't panic. Just take a look at the label and ask yourself if it's really serving your health goals. A few grams of sugar here, a few carbs there, it all adds up. And when you're at a point in life where every habit counts, switching to something lower in carbs and higher in protein can give you more peace of mind and better mornings. In the next block, we'll talk about the last milk to be cautious with, one that might surprise you even more. Number 1, rice milk. Of all the plant-based milks I've tried, rice milk was the one that fooled me the most. It tastes light, goes down smooth, and gives off the impression of being gentle on the system. But when I started digging deeper, really understanding how foods affect blood sugar, rice milk turned out to be one of the least friendly options for people like me trying to lower A1C. Why? Because it's essentially made of rice and water. And rice, especially white rice, is one of the fastest digesting carbohydrates out there. That means it sends sugar into your bloodstream quickly and forcefully, like flipping on a switch your body wasn't ready for. A single cup of rice milk can have twice the carbs of cow's milk, and often even more than oat milk. And unlike dairy or soy milk, it contains almost no protein or fat to help slow that absorption. That creates a perfect storm, a high glycemic liquid with nothing to buffer the sugar load. I remember thinking rice milk would be lighter than almond or soy, but every time I drank it, I noticed my energy would spike and crash. Once I tracked alongside my blood sugar readings, the connection became crystal clear. My glucose would rise sharply, even if I had it with something as plain as toast or eggs. What's worse, many commercial rice milk products come with added sugars or syrups to make the taste more appealing. It might be labeled original, but that can still mean sweetened. And because it lacks creaminess, manufacturers often add oils and thickeners to improve texture. These extras don't just cloud the label, they make it harder for your body to process. And while it's true that rice milk is often fortified with calcium and vitamins, the nutrient benefit doesn't outweigh the metabolic costs of those of us focused on insulin resistance and glucose control. You might also hear that rice milk is a good hypoallergenic choice. No soy, no nuts, no dairy. And that's true, but safe for allergies doesn't always mean safe for blood sugar. If you're looking for something easy to digest that won't trigger intolerances, there are other options, like unsweetened coconut milk beverage, that are far less glycemic. When we're over 60, digestion and sensitivity matter, but so does avoiding daily sugar spikes that tax the pancreas and wear out our energy reserves over time. So here's the bottom line. Rice milk may look clean and simple, but it hides a sugar story that can quietly push your A1C in the wrong direction. If it's in your kitchen now, no need to feel guilty. Just know there are better choices, ones that nourish without the hidden cost. And now that we've explored both the milks that help and the ones to be cautious with, it's time to wrap up with a final message of hope and possibility. Because your journey toward better health doesn't end here. It might just be beginning. Reaching a healthier A1C isn't about punishing yourself or following extreme rules. It's about small, consistent shifts And sometimes those shifts are as simple as changing the milk you pour each morning. Whether it's unsweetened almond milk in your coffee, soy milk in your smoothie, or a mindful choice of low-fat dairy with your cereal, these everyday decisions build up over time. And the best part? They don't require perfection, just attention, just care, and most of all, just believing that you can still make a difference in how you feel, no matter your age. If you've seen your blood sugar creeping up, or you're already living with type 2 diabetes, you're not alone. Many of us grew up being told one thing about food, only to learn later that our bodies respond differently than we expected. But the good news is that your body is still listening, and it's still capable of change. By choosing milks that work with your body instead of against it, you support not just your glucose, but your energy, your mood, and your sense of control over your health. That said, it's important to remember that every person is different. What works for one may not work for another. That's why before making any major changes to your diet, especially if you're managing a condition like diabetes, it's always best to talk with your doctor or a licensed specialist. They can help you understand how your unique body responds and guide you toward choices that are both safe and effective for you. No single milk is a miracle, but the right one can be part of a much bigger transformation. Your story isn't over. Your numbers can still change, and your meals can still nourish you without fear. After 60, every good habit counts twice, and the power to protect your health is still, beautifully, in your hands.